San Antonio is great. Now, the San Antonio suburbs is a huge area, and honestly, sometimes there may be reasons why you shouldn't move there. San Antonio itself does have some beautiful homes. It has beautiful spaces to live and neighborhoods and everything. The San Antonio suburbs is not for everybody. So in this video, I'm gonna go over the counties and areas around where you need to know what not to buy or watch out for. If you live or have visited the San Antonio suburbs, tell me in the comment section below what suburbs, what town, and what you thought of it, because I also make videos on your comments and your feedback. So please comment below, tell me what you think about these suburbs. So the San Antonio suburbs is defined in Wikipedia, and they call it the Greater San Antonio area or the San Antonio New Braunfels metro area. It's comprised of 8 counties that is in the Greater San Antonio area. It's going to be Atascosa, Bandera, Bexar County, Comal County, Guadalupe, Kendall, Medina, and Wilson County. So these counties are all around the San Antonio area. Every county has differences. Some counties are far north, some counties are far south. So there's a lot of variation in these counties and the amenities around it. Housing, living, working, it's very different. And there may be reasons why you don't want to live there. So the way I'm gonna break it down is the Hill Country area, the far west San Antonio, Medina Lake communities, far south San Antonio, and far east San Antonio. Now I know in the comments below you're gonna have people say, hey, Medina's not part of San Antonio. I get it. But for somebody who's watching this that just wants to know where to live and what the general information about the counties around it, this is for you. The Hill Country area is mainly in the counties of Comal and Bexar County. Those 2 counties are mainly where the Hill Country views and the hilly, beautiful wineries kind of start. Then it goes up to Fredericksburg and then far to Dripping Springs area. But Comal and Bexar County is kind of where it starts. The vibe is very Hill Country. Let's talk about the Hill Country vibes. So in the Hill Country, you have New Braunfels, Bulverde, Spring Branch, Canyon Lake, Wimberley, Fredericksburg. That's pretty much the gist of those towns that are within Bexar County and Comal County. New Braunfels has a culture in itself. It has a lot of nightlife. It has a lot of things to do, a lot of restaurants. You have Floating on the River. You have Green Texas, which is very historic. So New Braunfels definitely has its own feel. Bulverde, Spring Branch, Canyon Lake are kind of lumped in together. The vibes are very Hill Country. You have a lot of mom and pop areas. You have a lot of ranches and some new developments, but not really. Everything's very spread apart, and really it's the views. As you drive, you see the Hill Country views, which is really, really beautiful. They do have the Guadalupe River, Comal River, which is also very, very beautiful and historic. And that's kind of the vibe up there. Wimberley, Fredericksburg, that has more of a wine kind of vibe. And there's a lot of different restaurants and tourism because it's so historic of the settlers that came there and started the town. They have a lot of bed and breakfast places, definitely worth the trip to see. So the far west San Antonio vibe, Bernie, Dominion, Fair Oaks Ranch, Gray Forest, Helotes, that all is basically a lot of congestion in my opinion. There's a lot of great shopping in those areas and a lot of luxury shopping. You have the Rim, you have La Cantera, you have Porsche dealerships, Tesla dealerships, which is a lot of shopping, but to me, it's very congested into one place, which is the I-10-1604 corridor. I would say there's at least 300 stores just in that immediate area, and you also have Six Flags to put on top of it. So if shopping is your thing and you love luxury dining and luxury shopping, that is gonna be a great area for you. If you don't and you want more space, or if you wanna be closer to the Hill Country vibe, then the far west is probably not your area. Medina County is considered far west, and I'll talk a little smack about Medina Lake because Medina Lake has been very low for a very long time. There's no regulation with how much the lake fills or how much it's regulated. The water fluctuates so much, and right now it's very, very dry, and it's gonna take long seasons of heavy rain for it to come back up to where it's supposed to be. So because of the fluctuations, it may not be the best area to buy, but the communities are great and the houses are on very large lots. It's very affordable to be close to a lake community. So far south San Antonio, I'm referring to mainly Pleasanton, Jordanton, Poteet, and Floresville. Now, Floresville probably had the most development out of all the towns in the far south side. They basically called it, in an earlier magazine in San Antonio, the South Side Dominion. There's beautiful homes in Floresville, and they're on a minimum of half-acre lots. Floresville has been really developed over the years, and some people complain because now it's more congested, but if you compare it to other cities, it's not so bad. The far south end of the San Antonio area is very laid back. There's a lot of ranching, there's industrial developments, and if you don't want a lot of hustle and bustle, the south side is definitely the place for you. The amenities on the south side are not plentiful. The biggest shopping strip where you can buy all your school stuff and work stuff and just have one central location for all your commercial shopping needs, it's gonna be Brook City Base, which is about 30 minutes from the Jordanton, Pleasanton area for all your shopping. There is little stores here and there, but for the most part, Brook City Base is gonna be where your main shopping is gonna be. Now let's go to the far east. The far east of Bexar County also joins into Wilson County, and that's gonna be Lavernia, New Berlin, Seguin, St. Hedwig, and Lake McQueeney. These towns I just mentioned are one of the biggest booms in prices because of the development on I-10 and 35. So it's kind of a perfect location between New Braunfels, Austin, and the corridor between San Antonio and Houston. And the traffic on I-10 isn't so bad, so there's been more commercial development. So because of that reason, you used to be able to get 1 acre for $5,000, and today, 1 acre is gonna cost you at least $30,000. There hasn't been much development, but if you like the vibe of a farm and ranch, but still relatively close to the amenities like New Braunfels or Canyon Lake or even Austin, the far east side is a really, really hopping and very popular to buy and develop in today's market. Let's go into prices. The most expensive, and has been the most expensive in the San Antonio area, is the Hill Country. You have Comal County and the top of Bexar County. Those areas that are in New Braunfels, Bulverde, Spring Branch, Canyon Lake, Wimberley, those are the areas that have seen the biggest sustain of spike prices in the San Antonio area. So even 10 years ago, it was still expensive to buy land compared to other areas around the San Antonio area because it has the best views. It's also very close to a huge lake, which is Canyon Lake, and the schools for Spring Branch, New Braunfels are very, very highly rated according to niche.com, and that's probably why it's so sought after. The corridor between San Antonio and New Braunfels is basically closing because there's been so much development, which are making the land prices way more than other areas of San Antonio. Now the prices on the far west side, which is Dominion, Bernie, Fair Oaks Ranch, are also very, very high. All the very luxurious commercial developments that I mentioned earlier is reasons why these communities are so expensive. It may be an area you want to avoid because you can get same proximity to all the cool shoppings and wonderful amenities if you just go inside the city limits of San Antonio, not necessarily the town of Bernie or Fair Oaks Ranch. You can just live outside of it and be pretty close. Prices on the south side is the most affordable around the San Antonio area. If you want a lot of acreage for the least amount, the south side is definitely going to be the place where you can get a great deal, a great house, and there's very low restrictions on these communities. The far east side has seen the biggest spike in the shortest amount of time, and it's because of the proximity to the hill country and the proximity to all the new developments that are happening between San Antonio and Houston. Now, the downside with the Far East is it doesn't have a lot of amenities. It doesn't really have shopping strips or big name brand restaurants. It's very rural, but it's also very close to the hill country, and it's, you know, some people like the fact that there's not a lot of traffic and there's large ranches that are all around you in these communities, and they are starting to develop, but they're still very early in the development. The age of homes really varies because we're covering a very large area of the hill country. You have homes that are recently developed and are still being developed, and there's custom homes, but overall, homes are built in 1990 and up. Back in the 80s and very early 90s, the hill country was a blank, kind of just full of ranches, and there was really no amenities up there. So the development was very minimal. 281 used to be just a one-lane highway going up and one lane going down. But now with all the commercial development, the age of homes are a little bit newer, so you get a lot of the newer standards and the more builder warranties up in the hill country areas because of the development. Overall, the average age from the 2000s and up for the outskirts of New Braunfels, Bulverde, Spring Branch, except downtown New Braunfels, which those homes could be in the very early 1910s, and also Wimberley has very old homes. And of course, Fredericksburg has homes built in the early 1900s. The new construction stuff is really on 46, which connects New Braunfels to San Antonio all the way to Boerne. Those new constructions are definitely from the 2000s and up, and there's still available homes that are being constructed, both custom and semi-custom homes, such as Veramindi, Mayor Ranch. Green, Texas has a lot of really cool developments on the river, and you have Bell Oaks, which is one of the coolest, newest developments. The lots are pretty much sold out, and it's a median house price in Bell Oaks is around $900,000. The closer you are to San Antonio, the older the homes are. They really didn't start developing around the suburbs till after about 1990. Now, the town of Boerne does have very historic homes, just like downtown New Braunfels and downtown Fredericksburg. So those homes are very historic, but the suburbs around those homes in those communities are closer to about 2000s and up. If you look at this map and you're looking south of Potranco, those communities are pretty much brand new. As the communities grow and the suburbs grow, it's being pushed out even further down to Potranco and Texas Research Parkway. Those communities are starting in more reasonable prices, which is around $300 and up, as opposed to the big ranch style custom homes that are on the hill countryside. Age of homes on the far south side, which is Pleasanton, Jordanton, Poteet. New home developments are going to be closer to the city of San Antonio south side. Those homes are going to start around $300. Jordanton, Pleasanton does not have a lot of new communities. It's a lot of older homes built as early as 1920s, 1930s. It was called to be the birthplace of the cowboy in Pleasanton, which is really awesome. Also check out the Longhorn Museum. Floresville had a lot of development, and that's why they named it the Dominion of the South Side. So Floresville has these beautiful custom homes on half-acre lots, and now today their prices are around $500 and up, but there's still resales and homes that were built in the early 90s and mid 2000s where the construction is very nice and where the location sits is very convenient to the city of San Antonio. The Far East, where we talked about in the counties, is going to be the newest explosions, and that's where I mentioned that it's going to be the biggest spike in prices, and it's still early in the development to where even if you buy something now, it has a good chance of getting a lot of equity later on. So there's not a lot of developments, and if you're looking in the Far East, I would say to look around Converse, New Berlin, and Lavernia is going to be the three hottest areas for new development where you can basically see the model home, pick your lot, and build a house. That may not last for too long, but right now that is the newest kind of boom that I've seen being developed. The biggest misconception of living in the San Antonio suburbs is that you're gonna have more space. That is 100% false. Just because you live in the suburbs does not mean you're gonna have more space. San Antonio suburbs does have this kind of cookie cutter look in some areas, and if you live basically 10 minutes from the Alamo, you could sit on a pretty large lot, and you can live an hour away from the Alamo and live in this tiny backyard for about the same price. So be careful when looking and shopping around the San Antonio suburbs. Hope this video helped. Check out my other video with areas to avoid San Antonio. This is Trey with the Calvary Group, broker by Real. Thanks for watching.